Welcome to Wawasan Wire. Today we're talking about Mahathir's assessment of the internal conflict within Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia. So the political air around Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia. Well, it's been pretty thick with drama lately, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. We're not just talking small disagreements here.
No, exactly. It feels like we're seeing these internal fault lines really bursting open, very public, very serious disciplinary stuff.
Absolutely. And usually when you see that kind of internal fighting, you'd think the party's main goals are, in real trouble.
That's what you'd assume. But then you get this really interesting take from Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad.
Right. Which is kind of surprising, considering the level of turmoil.
He seems to be saying, despite all this chaos, the main mission, defending Malay rights, which is core to Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, that's not going to be affected.
Precisely. He's making this, well, quite firm claim that the infighting is essentially noise. It won't derail the fundamental objective. It's quite a statement.
Especially given how serious the actions taken were. Maybe we should pin down what actually happened first, because this went way beyond just arguments.
Good idea. Things really came to a head on October 14th. That's when the party's disciplinary committee made some very decisive moves.
And who was on the receiving end of those?
Well, it was quite significant. First off, the immediate expulsion of Wan Saiful Wanyan, the Tasik Gelugor member of Parliament.
Okay, expelled. That's serious.
Very. And alongside him, 4 division chairmen were also kicked out of the party.
4 more. Wow.
Yeah. And then there's the Machang member of Parliament, Yuan Huaishao. He wasn't expelled, but suspended for 1 term. Still a major disciplinary action.
So expulsion, suspension, this wasn't just a slap on the wrist. This was clearing house, it seems.
It looks like it. Removing some key figures, definitely sending a strong message.
And the why behind it all, it wasn't just like poor performance or policy disagreements, was it? It was something much more fundamental.
That's right. The core allegation, the reason they were investigated, was that they were supposedly trying to collect statutory declarations, SDs.
SDs. Okay, so for anyone listening who might not be super familiar, gathering SDs, that's basically trying to show the party president has lost support. Right?
Exactly. It's a direct move. It's essentially signaling we don't have confidence in Muhyiddin Yassin anymore. The intention alleged was to force him to step down.
So it's effectively an attempt to, well, stage an internal coup, politically speaking.
That's certainly how it's being interpreted.
Yeah.
It's a very high-stakes maneuver aimed squarely at destabilizing the party leadership. Serious stuff.
Okay, so you've got this attempted power grab met with these sweeping expulsions, a really deep split. And then Mahathir steps in and seems to almost brush aside the political implications. Where did he actually say this?
He made these comments in Putrajaya.
Yeah.
It was after a roundtable discussion, I believe, on the U.S.-Malaysia Reciprocal Trade Agreement. Reporters asked him about the Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia situation.
And his response wasn't about the instability.
No, he pivoted. He deliberately shifted the focus. He basically gave this message of continuity, saying, look, this infighting won't stop Muhyiddin Yassin, the president, or Hamzah Zainudin, the deputy president, from championing Malay rights.
But how can he be so sure? I mean, when a party is tearing itself apart internally, doesn't that inevitably distract from the mission? Isn't that focus completely fractured?
Well, his confidence seems to stem purely from his view of their fundamental identity.
Meaning?
His logic is quite direct. Muhyiddin and Hamzah are Malay. Therefore, their struggle, their commitment to the Malay nation is inherent. It's seen as something deeper than just party politics.
So it continues regardless of their specific role in the party or the chaos around them.
That's his argument. The commitment, in his view, is tied to their identity, not their job title within Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia. It transcends the immediate political turmoil.
So he's compartmentalizing. The party mess is one thing, the leader's personal ethnic commitment is another, and he thinks the latter is stronger.
Precisely. He's looking at it through the lens of, let's say, national duty derived from identity, rather than through transient political positions.
Which leads us to this big umbrella idea he mentioned. He said he wasn't picking sides in the fight. So what's this umbrella represent?
He was very clear on that, not backing either faction. The big umbrella, as he put it, is the overarching cause, defending Malay rights. And under this umbrella, he suggests everyone involved, whether they're loyal to Muhyiddin or even those who were expelled, they ultimately participate.
Participate based on what, though? If they're not participating as Bersatu members or leaders?
Based on their primary identity. He specifically said they participate as a Malay who wants to defend Malay rights, not as a Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia member, not as a faction leader.
I see. So the party is just a vehicle, maybe a broken down vehicle at the moment in his view. But the destination, the defending Malay rights part, is still the goal. And the commitment comes from being Malay itself.
That's the essence of it. The political structures, the party itself, might be unstable or temporary, but the underlying loyalty, the duty associated with that identity, remains constant for those individuals.
That really reframes it, doesn't it? It suggests all this high-stakes political drama, the SDs, the expulsions, it's all secondary noise. The real anchor is this fundamental identity and the mission tied to it.
It certainly demotes the importance of the party apparatus itself, or at least the current internal conflict within it. It puts the emphasis squarely on the personal commitment of the leaders.
But why push this specific angle now? Why emphasize identity over the very real, very messy party discipline issues when people are literally being kicked out?
Well, you have to consider the political climate and the audience.
You mean reassuring the base?
Exactly. When there's this much visible chaos at the top of a party, the core supporters, the ones who really care about that fundamental mission in this case, Malay rights, they might start getting nervous. They might wonder if their interests are still being protected amidst the infighting.
So Mahathir is stepping in to say, don't worry, the cause is safe.
He's positioning that core mission as non-negotiable, something personally guaranteed by Muhyiddin and Hamzah because of who they are, fundamentally. It's an attempt to decouple the mission's safety from the party's internal health.
So the message is the organization might be struggling, but the leader's personal commitment keeps the main goal on track.
That seems to be the intended takeaway. He's trying to build confidence in the continuity of the mission despite the organizational crisis.
But realistically, can that work long term? I mean, even if the intent is there, if the leaders are constantly putting out fires, dealing with internal challenges, expelling rivals, surely that drains resources, time, political capital. Doesn't that have to impact their ability to actually do the job of defending those rights effectively?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? Mahathir's perspective is quite ideological identity trumps organizational function. But practically speaking,
fighting internal battles takes energy.
absolutely. Every hour spent managing an internal crisis is an hour not spent on policy, on governance, on advancing the agenda they claim to champion. The big umbrella might be the stated ideal, but executive distraction is a real risk.
So the big question for the electorate, and maybe for our listeners too, is whether that ideological commitment is enough when the vehicle carrying it, the party, is so obviously damaged by infighting.
How long can that personal identity shield the mission if the institution itself is consumed by conflict?
Which brings us to a point for you, listening right now. Considering this deep split, the expulsions, the alleged coup attempt, do you buy Mahathir's argument? Can party infighting really become, well, irrelevant if the goal is seen as fundamental, like defending national rights?
Or does internal conflict, the sheer political mechanics of it, always end up undermining the mission, no matter how strong the leader's personal convictions are?
Is that big umbrella strong enough to cover the cracks appearing in the party structure? We'd be interested to know what you think.
So just to wrap up the core tension here, you have, on one hand, the stark reality of these major expulsions within Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, a sign of serious internal warfare.
Right, targeting the very top leadership.
And on the other hand, you have this very calm assertion from Mahathir, a political heavyweight, saying, don't worry, the mission is fine. Why? Because the personal identity of Muhyiddin and Hamzah guarantees it.
It really highlights that perennial question in politics.
Yeah.
Where does loyalty ultimately lie? With the institution or with the identity and ideology of its leaders?
It's a fascinating dynamic to watch unfold, especially in the current political landscape.
Definitely provides a lot to think about regarding political strategy and messaging.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.